guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, I am so glad that you are here. So for today's video, I am doing a Beff Talks video. I haven't done a sit down video in a long time. So being that I just turned 26, I am in my late 20s now. That doesn't even sound right. I cannot believe that I'm 26. I feel like I'm still stuck at 22. Don't know why, but yeah, it's crazy that I'm in my late 20s. So I am here to share a couple of things that I learned in my early 20s. So I guess, you know, from like 20 to 24 to 25. So if you are interested in that, don't forget to stay into the end of the video and leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your post notifications so that you are notified each and every single time that I post. I do have a Beff Talks playlist, so this video will be included in that playlist, and then I have other videos of me rambling. So let's go ahead and get into the video. So I would say that I have 7 important lessons or topics or areas of life that was really important for me to talk about. Really, this can apply to anybody. Like, I don't know if I have any young viewers or if most of my viewers are my age and older, but I feel like the topics that I'm going to touch on are very important for all of us to learn at any time of life. But just talking about you know, the things that stuck out the most to me in terms of what did I learn in the past 5 years. So hopefully I don't ramble too long, because if you know me personally, you know that I am long-winded. So I'm gonna try and keep this video under 20 minutes. No promises, but I promise you this, I am going to drop some gems. So for the very first one, it is have patience with yourself. A lot of us line up and plan things in our lives, and we tend to get very disappointed. We tend to get very down and depressed and anxious about the future when things don't go our way. I think the biggest lesson of the pandemic is that things are not going to always go as planned, and you have to be okay with that. And in terms of like being patient with yourself, you're doing a lot of growing. You're trying to accomplish things. You're trying to get a foundation started on your life. You're trying to become independent. You're looking at going to college, the military, you know, being an entrepreneur. Like, there are so many things that are going on in your early 20s, and I think that we kind of just rush it. Like, we want to get married at a certain time. We want to be in a certain position at a certain time. We want to graduate by a certain time. Now, I definitely believe in planning. I definitely believe in the saying, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. I definitely believe in that. But I also think that, you know, I put a lot of pressure on myself to be perfect, and sometimes that's good, and sometimes I've learned that it's not good. You have to take the pressure off of yourself and allow yourself to learn from your mistakes. Allow yourself to have mistakes, because a lot of the times we don't plan to have a mistake, but it's human nature. It's going to happen. So if you're just hard on yourself because of that mistake, it's going to take longer for you to recover from that. And I'm still recover from that mistake. I'm still learning. Like, I'm very hard on myself. I'm extremely hard on myself. But one thing that the pandemic taught me is that you may have plans, but there are going to be things in life that happen that get you off track. The most important thing is that you get back on track. That's why I do believe in having a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. The choices are endless. So don't allow yourself to be so down about if something doesn't go right, because it's crazy, because we put so much pressure on ourselves with as young as we are. Like, we expect us to have it all together by 30. And a lot of people that I know that are over 30 have told me your life is pretty much just starting at 30. So don't be pressured, especially social media will pressure you into thinking that you have to have it all together, and that's not true. You know, just build ground up, start at your foundation, and then just make sure that you are taking your time, and know that mistakes are not the end of the world. For my second one, you will lose friends. Like, you will definitely, there are people in my life that I never thought that I would fall out with, that I have fallen out with, and it's very heartbreaking. Nobody talks about grieving friendships. Like, a lot of the times when you hear the word grief, you think about death, in a physical sense, but you can grieve the death of a relationship, the death of a friendship, the death of closeness to a family member. Like, you can grieve relationships ending, and nobody ever really talks about that in terms of grieving. And that's a very real thing. It is very heartbreaking to lose a best friend or to lose a friend that you had a tight bond with, and that's just a natural part of life. It hurts, but I wouldn't say look forward to it, but just don't be surprised. You can literally lose a friendship with anybody, and just take that time to grieve, but don't close yourself off to making new friends. I know that a lot of us have this whole like, oh, no new friends thing. Like, I don't want no new friends, when it's, God did not create us to be alone. Like, the Bible literally says that 2 is better than 1, so that if one falls, the other one is there. Like, we're not a lot. This society has taught us that being independent and being by yourself and being self-made is the way, but no, God did not make us to be by ourselves. Like, literally, most of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis, you just, there's no way that you can do it by yourself. Like, when you go, like, for example, you go to the grocery store, there's somebody that had to put the groceries out for you. You go to the gym, there's somebody that had to set up all those machines. Like, that's a crazy example, but we literally cannot live without each other. Men cannot live without women cannot live without men. You need friendships, you need relationships, you need family. Like, we need each other. And I think that as humans, the quicker we accept that, the less we'll fight each other. So yeah, but you'll lose friends and you'll stop being as close to certain people, especially when you graduate college, because there are certain people that you go from seeing every day to like maybe once a year. That's happened to me. And when I graduated, I was kind of like, well, dang, I thought I was closer to this person, but really it was proximity, not relationship. Like, this was a person that I saw on campus every day. Now I only see them once a year because we were in the same location, week after week after week, and then now we're not in the same location. I barely see that person now. So stuff like that happens. Just make sure that you build. All right, so my camera unfortunately cut off, but pretty much what I was saying is that reconcile with those you can reconcile. Like, having problems in a friendship or in relationships is normal. If the relationship or the friendship is worth saving, then definitely reconcile. But if it's not, or if the other person doesn't want to, it's okay to move on to new people and to new friends. It's a normal part of life, and just you have to learn how to be okay with that. It does hurt, but just learn how to accept it. So the third point is time management is key. And when I say time management, I'm talking about making sure that you're getting up on time. I am not an early riser by far. Even as a kid, my parents had to fight me tooth and nail just to get up out the bed, and I still struggle with that, as an adult. But I've learned that the earlier you get up, the quicker your day is. Like, you can get more things done. You won't be up late at night doing things you should have did early in the morning. When you're in college, when you have assignments, when you're going to events, when you're doing things, when you're traveling, when life is just so busy. So when you manage your time correctly, life is a whole lot more manageable. And that is, I know it sounds so simple, but trust me, a lot of us have problems with procrastination, not getting things done on time, and that can ruin you. When you're wasting time on social media, you're wasting too much time sleeping too much is not good for you or your mental health or your physical health. So yeah, I don't have much more to say about that. But it sounds so simple, but it is extremely important to make sure that you prioritize what's important. getting your work done, whether it be from school, from your job, and then also managing your social life, managing your spiritual life, managing your physical activities, your hobbies. Life is a million times better when you manage your time correctly. Okay, so the next one is have fun but be responsible. And what I mean by that is that sometimes we take life a little too serious, that we don't make time to have fun. Like, God wants us to enjoy life. Like, life should be enjoyable. Like, it doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. Always find time to enjoy yourself, to laugh, to find hobbies. Hobbies are so important. If you go from working all day, you come home around 7, 8 o'clock, you go to the gym, you come home, you go to sleep, you eat, and then you wake up just to do it all over again. Like, where is the enjoyment? Like, where is your social interaction? There was a time last year where I literally didn't see any of my friends, like, for months, from like maybe 7 months at a time, because I was so focused on me and trying to get myself together, but I wasn't having any fun. Like, at that time I was 25, but I was acting like I was 65. And having a social life is very, very, very important. You do want to be careful with the influences that you have in your life, because when things do get hard, like, you have to have those solid people with you to get you through that time. And building those connections and those relationships are very important. So that's why I say having fun and travel, like, try to travel. I know there are a lot of people that don't care to travel, but we got this big old world that God has blessed us with, and you only want to stay in your city. I don't know about any other city, but people from Memphis don't care to leave Memphis. People from New Orleans don't care to leave New Orleans. Like, a lot of us Black people have that attitude, like, I was born and raised here, I'm gonna die here. Like, it's just so much earth. I'm not saying that you got to go to the Bahamas. Like, drive down the street to Arkansas, take a trip to New Orleans, take a trip to Chicago. Like, there are so many different places that it's inexpensive, especially if you have a nice little group where y'all can split the cost. I highly recommend, and yes, I am biased because y'all know I get my travel on, okay? I highly recommend traveling and seeing the world. There are so many things and so many people that you can meet, and it'll blow your mind, the different cultures, the different foods, the different architect, like, just seeing other societies. Like, it's so beautiful, and it's definitely, like, you see the power of God when you go. Like, I remember, if I can find a little clip of the Niagara Falls, like, seeing Niagara Falls was like mind-blowing. It was so beautiful. And to think that, that there are so, like, Victoria Falls, I want to go to Africa so freaking bad. Like, I want to see all that the earth has to offer before I die. And I think, and once again, I know travel isn't for everybody, but I highly encourage it. And even if you're not traveling, try new things, do new things, because we are not meant to just work and die. A lot of people just work every day, all day, rest on the weekend, and do it all again on Monday. And that's not living. I don't think that's living life abundantly. So yeah, make sure that you find time for fun, but just be responsible. Don't be drinking and driving. Don't be hooking up don't be hooking up with strangers. Just you know right from wrong as an adult, and you don't want to make any temporary decisions that will end up in permanent consequences. So I definitely agree with having fun. Just make sure that you're smart about the fun that you have. I feel like my last point kind of goes into my next point, which is how do I elegantly put this? You don't have to have what they call a hoe phase, which means you don't have to go out there and sleep with whoever you think is fine. And I'm not just saying this because a lot of people these days will be like, oh, you're trying to police people's bodies. No, it's not about that. It's about being smart with your your body is your temple, and you shouldn't allow any old person to come in and ruin your peace. Or I like to tell people this all the time, ain't nothing out here in these streets but heartbreak and STDs, and if you are not careful, you will get both. I literally just looked at a case study about how STDs are on the rise and pregnancy is on the, like, it's crazy. And it leads to heartbreak, it leads to resentment, it leads to just you being unhealthy physically, mentally, spiritually. Like you can ruin your life over the wrong person. And I'm not saying this from my own experience. I've seen this from watching other people's experiences, like my close friends, and just talking to them about, like, you know, how dating and sleeping around is just, it can be very consequential. So you don't have to sleep with everybody that you're attracted to. You don't have to sleep with everybody you're in a relationship with. Take your time in that department. Listen, my stance is waiting until marriage. I know that's not everybody's stance. I've had millions and thousands of conversations with a whole bunch of different people, and just trying to like poke the mind, just trying to see into the minds of those that are like casually dating. It's not worth it. It's not. Sleeping with everybody that you come across is not worth it. You don't, and a lot of people will say, oh, you build character from sleeping around. No, you don't. You can build character another way, I promise. Like, you gain nothing from it but temporary pleasure. Like, and then what happens after that? Nothing. You're just looking for the next fix, and you will run into the wrong people, sleeping around and getting into relationships and situationships that you weren't supposed to be in the first place. So I know a lot of y'all don't like to be told what to do. This is just my opinion. You don't have to follow nothing I'm saying, but based on my observation, having a hoe phase is not worth it. It's not. You save yourself the time, the effort, the heartbreak. You know, keep yourself physically clean. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, and it adds nothing. And I don't, if you disagree, drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Just be careful. Like, I don't casual date for a reason, because what's the point? Like, it's just a lot of people are out here just to get what they can take from people, and who wants to be with somebody that is just, you know, in a relationship or in a situationship for their own benefit. You have to protect yourself, or you will be taken advantage of by the wrong people. So that's why I say be careful with who you share your space and your time and your body with. Okay, so my last two kind of tie in together. So one of them is take spirituality seriously, and the other one is take your mental health seriously. So the reason why I say that they kind of go into each other is because when your mental health is going bad, your spirituality is still there. You may not be mentally strong, but you have your spirituality to lean on. And like I said earlier about having that community, if you're not feeling well, or you're not feeling your best, or if you're going through something traumatic, you'll have people that can not only say, oh, everything is okay, everything's gonna be all right, but they can pray for you, they can pray with you, they can check up on you. And there's nothing like having a spiritual backing, because we are spiritual beings. I highly believe that we are spiritual beings, in that there's a higher power. Like, I'm a Christian, and I highly believe in the Bible and God and Jesus and all of that. And I feel like we are nothing without guidance. And it's like when your car breaks down and you take it to the dealership you bought it from. Nobody knows the created better than the creator. So making sure that you're looking to God for leadership is very, very important, because life can get really, really hard. And if you have no guidance, or if you have no relationship with God, or if you have no relationship with other people that have a relationship with God, you will make life a whole lot harder on yourself. You need that community, you need that relationship, so that when things get tough, because it will. If it hasn't yet, it will. And I hate to say that, but even the Bible says that we are going to have hard times. Hard times are literally guaranteed in the Bible. So having people to lean on and having a spiritual life to lean on will make it will make life a whole lot easier if you allow yourself to become spiritually mature. And I know that at this age it's not as popular, because sometimes we feel like, oh, I'm gonna live it up, and oh, I'm gonna do this, and then I'll give my life to God. No, just do it now. And I'm not saying that you're gonna be perfect the moment you give your life to God, but I think it's because I've been through a lot at such a young age, where I literally had no other choice but to be like, okay, God, it's you and me. What you want me to do? Like, my spiritual life has saved me a whole lot, especially within these last 2 years. So take it from me, you're gonna need it. And I think, you know, it just helps us with our morals, it helps us with our beliefs, it helps us handle bad times, it helps us handle our enemies, like it helps us handle politics and race. There's not a thing that you can think about, a subject that has happened to you or something that's going on in the news that the Bible does not talk about. Like, I literally did not think that the Bible talked about mental health, but through my mental health journey and going to therapy, the Bible has a whole lot to say about mental health. And that goes into my last point, taking your mental health seriously. Even in the church, where, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, just pray it away or just have faith. Sometimes that's not all you need to do. Like, maybe God will lead you to go to therapy, or maybe God will lead you to do other things outside of what the church teaches us to, you know, take care of your mental health. It's just like when you break your ankle. Funny, because I just sprained my ankle. But you know, when somebody has diabetes, people in church don't say, oh, just pray it away, you'll be all right. No, they say go to the doctor, work out, take your medicine. So it should also apply to mental health as well. We go through so much, especially with this pandemic in the last couple of years, trying to recover from all the trauma, all the grieving that we've had to go through. You best believe a lot of us have gone crazy, and that's okay. But what's not okay is to leave it unaddressed and suffer just because you feel like you macho and you feel like you can handle it by yourself. Like I said earlier, doing things by yourself is not God's design. So take care of your mental health, take care of yourself seriously. If you are not feeling well, if you feel like something's not right up here, if you're feeling anxious, depressed, whatever, get help. There are plenty of resources. I know therapy can be expensive, but take care of yourself. And I'm not just saying this as a psychology major. I'm not just saying this as somebody that wants to be a therapist, but I'm saying it as somebody that has gone through a lot in the last couple of years. Make sure you take care of yourself mentally as well as spiritually, and don't care about what others say. Make sure that you are looking at what God needs you to do to take care of yourself, and listen to what your body is telling you that it needs, or your mind is telling you that it needs. Because in the flesh, your body will fail on you, and it's up to us to take care of ourselves, because nobody's gonna take care of you like you. So yeah, I can't stress that enough. That is very important, even at a young age, because sometimes we don't think that, oh, depression not gonna hit me till I'm 40, or anxiety not gonna hit me until I'm 50. No, it can happen, and it has happened to a lot of us at this age, and denying it does nothing. Denying it will either make it worse, or it'll just prolong it. When you can just handle it, put your pride aside and just handle it when you feel like you're not doing well. Alright, you guys, so that is it for this video. That is the 7 top things that I learned in my early 20s. If you agree with anything that I said, if you disagree with anything that I said, just make sure that you leave it down below in the comments. If you have a disagreement, just disagree respectfully. If I have anybody that is in their 30s or their 40s or their 50s, I know I have family members watching my channel. So if you have any advice for us that are in our 20s, make sure that you drop it down below in the comments. I want to start doing more Beff Talks videos, because you know Beff loves to talk. So if you have any topics that you want me to touch on, put it down below in the comments as well. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe, turn on your post notifications so that you are notified each and every single time that I post. And I really hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye.